here is the video that I mentioned before about our new equation. So last lesson we looked at metal plus oxygen, arrow, metal oxide. That was the general word equation, but then you had to apply it using actual metals. We're now going to look at another one. Our new word equation is when you react a metal with an acid, you make salt and hydrogen. Now hydrogen is a gas, okay? So when you react a metal to an acid, you make salt and hydrogen. So your reactants make these products, okay? This is your general rule. But again, you have to learn to use it. So for example, as you can see here, I put an example of a metal and I put an example of an acid. So all you do is you replace the name of the metal with the metal you want to use and the acid. You're always going to know the name of the acid because the end word says acid. So for example, if I say to you, the metal potassium, so all you're going to do is you apply the actual examples to the rule. So potassium. If I say to you the acid is nitric acid, you would write nitric acid. And then you would write salt plus hydrogen. And again, if I say to you iron. Now I'm going to put iron here on this side. I don't want to confuse you, but I want you to know that as long as they are on the left hand side, you can switch them around. So it can be metal plus acid or it can be acid plus metal. Okay, so please don't let that confuse you. So if I say to you the acid is sulfuric acid, okay, and what do they make? They make salt plus hydrogen. And again, I could put the hydrogen here and the salt there. As long as they're on the right hand side, you can move them around. If I was to say copper, couldn't do copper because copper doesn't react with acid if you look at the reactivity series of metal, which I think I've got here. It doesn't react with acids, so I couldn't do it. Okay, again, zinc. So zinc, take the metal. So zinc. And let's say I say hydrochloric acid. I would make salt plus hydrogen. That's how you do the first bit. So then you have to actually know the names of the salts, which gets a little bit more difficult. But what doesn't change is your hydrogen. Your hydrogen is always hydrogen. So for example, in my answer, I've picked to do about lead. That's my metal. So remember, metal plus acid makes salt plus hydrogen. So I've replaced the metal with lead. Acid, hydrochloric acid, salt plus hydrogen. Fine. Let's take it further. Lead plus hydrochloric acid makes metal chloride plus hydrogen. Lead plus hydrochloric acid makes lead chloride plus hydrogen. This is where it gets complicated, so I need you to really, really focus. There are 3 acids you will be using. You will be using hydrochloric acid. You will be using sulfuric acid. And you will be using nitric acid. They make the names of different salts. Okay, so they make salts. So for example, the name of the salt for nitric acid is nitrate. The name of the acid in the name of the salt in sulfuric acid is sulfate. The name of the salt in hydrochloric acid is chloride. Okay? But what is missing is you still need to put the first word of the metal that you used first. So let's try this out now, okay? We're going to try this out. So I might say to you, for example, lithium. Lithium is a metal. So I've got my metal. I may say to you, sulfuric acid. Okay. Then you've got to turn it into a salt. So what you do is you write the first word of the metal, and then you go to this table here. So what is the name of the salt that sulfuric acid makes? Sulfate. Then we've just got to put hydrogen. Okay, what if I say to you, right, I want you to react lithium with nitric acid. Okay, so you write the metal, lithium, nitric acid, because that's the one I've said used. Okay, then you go to your table. Okay, I've got nitric acid. Nitric acid makes nitrate. First, I need to put the name of the metal and then the name of the salt. And don't forget hydrogen. Okay, I could give you another one. I could say I want you to react potassium with hydrochloric acid. Okay, so potassium is my metal. My acid, I've been told, is hydrochloric acid. I go to my table. Hydrochloric acid makes chloride. But first, I need to put the name of the metal. Then I put the name of the end of the salt and hydrogen. And what you've done is you have named the salt. So, to use this equation, you have to put the name of the metal in, the name of the acid, you have to figure out the name of the salt, and then the end is hydrogen. Again, you need to check your reactivity series. Will it react? So, as we've said here, these guys react with them all. These guys react with acids and oxygen. These guys here react with just oxygen. Okay, good luck.